Good evening, this is Danny Elms, and tonight's video is how to fill out the buyer representation tenant agreement, buyer tenant agreement short form. This is a brand new form that was created due to the NAR offer of settlement, and it is form number 1507, which can be found on Zip Forms. There are two buyer rep agreements, the long form and the short form. The long form is the traditional 5-pager. The short form is 1 page. So to fill this out, and as I go through it, you'll understand why we use the short form occasionally. Try to use the long form if you can. Number one, parties. This agreement is made between Mary Jones, my buyer, and United Real Estate Dallas, the broker. Appointments, client appoints broker, us, as client's real estate agent subject to terms of this agreement. Number three, definitions. In this agreement, acquire means to purchase or lease real property. Market area means that area in the state of Texas specified as follows. So again, depending upon what you are going to show the client, Mary Jones, you will list here. So you could put, for example, Dallas County and Collin County. I'll leave that here for a second because we may change that once I explain some things. So those are the two areas. Now, what day does this term agree or start? July 28th. And how long are we going to be Mary Jones's agent? Well, I might start out with 3 months. And we'll just say through Halloween. And based upon what I'm about to show you, you might change this blank as well. So, number 5, this is where it gets interesting. Broker's obligations. Broker must comply with minimum duties as required by law. Broker may represent other prospective buyers or tenants who may seek to acquire the same property as the client. Okay, pretty simple. Because you have more than one buyer, I'm sure. And if you sell in a certain area, you might show that house to multiple people. So, what am I going to do? Are you a full service broker or a showing service? What's the difference? Well, let's look at both. Full service means broker will use broker's best efforts to assist client in the acquisition of the property in the market area, which is here, Dallas and Collin County. But what if they say, well, I'd like to see Denton County too? Then you're going to do the amendment to the buyer rep agreement to say that Denton County is now part of the collective agreement. Simple as that. But let's say, for example, if you are a full service broker, everything here makes sense. You're going to show them properties in 2 counties and you're going to try to do it for 3 months. Okay. But let's say, for example, you are not a full service broker, you are a showing service broker. What is that? Paragraph 6, 7, and 8 do not apply. Broker will provide client with access to properties in the market area. Client will pay broker a fee of X due upon execution of this agreement. So let's think about that for just a second. If I were to say I will show them homes in Dallas and Collin County, that's a lot of homes that I potentially could show them. So I'm not willing to have that open-ended if I am doing a showing service contract. So I'm going to say, for example, I'm trying to pick up a buyer for the first time. I meet them at the house and I say, for me to open this door, which is now required, you must have a buyer's rep agreement. I need you to sign this document and we're going to see 123 Elm Street, Dallas, Texas 75240. That's the only house I'm going to show you. Okay, and so that's the only house I'm going to show you. Then the agreement is only valid for basically 1 day. So what do I do in that case? I come back down here to showing services. Now you can actually put in 0 if you'd like and open that door and try to get them as a long-term client. Or you could also put 0 there if, let's say, for example, a listing agent in United put on Facebook that they needed someone to open the door at 123 Main Elm Street in this case, and they're offering $50. Well, you're not going to charge the buyer in this case because the agent's paying you to open that door. But if you're getting no compensation and you are not trying to pick up that buyer long term, then why not put, I'll open that door for $50. Look what it says. Due upon execution of this agreement. So you have them sign it and you have them Zelle you $50, or you have them send you a check for $50, but you collect it. Now, does the broker get part of that? That's TBD. We're still waiting on United, the company, to give us the rules and regulations on what this actually means, but you can collect to open a door and show them a home because you have a license and you have a skill set and a value to offer that client, the buyer in this case. So that is showing services. But to continue, if we are just doing a showing service, we don't do paragraph 6, 7, and 8, which means what? Client obligations. Client must work exclusively through the broker in acquiring property in the market area and inform other brokers, agents, sellers that broker exclusively represents the client for the purpose of this for acquiring the property. That's what a buyer's rep agreement is all about. Okay. But if you're a showing service, in this case, one day, one house, they can work with multiple different agents. And in this case, they might have a buyer's agent agreement with, let's say, an agent in the United office, but they are on vacation this week. You're filling in for them and they paid you to do that. Then you're a showing service agent only. That's paragraph 6. Paragraph 7. So let's go ahead and change this back because we are now a full service agent. Let's go back there. And if I'm a full service agent, I'm going to do it for 3 months through Halloween. And again, I will show them properties in Dallas County and Collin exclusive. All right. So we come back down here, broker's compensation. So this is where you need to understand and explain to your buyer that they are paying a fee for your service if you are able to buy them a home. But what does that fee include? Well, here's what it says. When earned and payable, client being the buyer will pay broker you complete all of that apply. For purchases, let's say you're going to get 2%. And let's say because you might start out showing them homes, but you can't find one and they're desperate. So you say 50% of 1 month's rent, for example. Okay. Or instead of paying 2%, let's say you're going to ask for a flat fee of $5,000 to get them a home. Either one's possible. Okay. So think about that for just a second. You're saying to your buyer, I'm going to do my best to find you a home and purchase it and get it for you at the best price possible. And for that service, you, Mr. Buyer, have to pay me $5,000. But what if the buyer says, I don't have $5,000? I can barely scrape together my down payment and all the other things like the taxes and insurance and the escrows and the moving cost and the closing cost. That all adds up. So what you say to them, well, I hear what you're saying. So what I'm going to do is I will put here $500 that you will pay me. And then if I find a house for you that the seller is offering a buyer's agent commission, we will amend this contract to say I get 2%. And in that case, what you're saying to the buyer is, I don't work for free. I want $500 to show you homes through the end of October in those counties. Okay. Now, do they have to pay you that? No, they don't, because you did not buy them a home. But what it's saying is you are eligible to get $500. Now, the other thing you need to know is if you find a home that is offering, for example, a bonus or more than $500 in this case, you need to modify this agreement and get the buyer to sign it that says you can collect that additional fees. And that's all basically written here in these paragraphs. Intermediary, yes, we do want to show homes that are listed by United. Okay, and that is the form. Now, some things here on this form that are not coming top of mind to many people who read it because they go, oh, this is a simple form. What this form doesn't discuss is mediation. That's 1. 2, limits of liability. Fair housing is number 3. And does E&O cover this short form? We're waiting on those official answers about E&O because that's important. The example I can give you is you do the following. You become a showing service only, and you walk them in a house, and they trip and fall and break their leg. Who is responsible for that? If E&O doesn't cover it, They may try to sue the homeowner, but there's no guarantee of that, and they may look to you. So until we know officially if this is E&O covered, I would suggest you fill out the long form. Okay. Anyway, this is a one-page short form buyer rep agreement, TXR 1507, and hopefully this will help. Have a great day.